Shannon, you talk about being professional, right? I think your professionalism needs to carry over even when you're in public, right?
Ooh, come on.
He has consistently on his show kept his cool, had restraint.
I know where you're going.
Right? Now you get on one of the biggest stages in LA and act a fool, right? In my opinion, out of character from what you've shown while you've been on television. The other part of that is, welcome to the barbecue, people, all right? It's okay. People talk shit. They argue, right? And they shook it up afterwards. But Shannon, I expected more out of you, and I know he did the fool.
Yeah.
I know he did the fool.
He thought he was on a football field for a second.
And today we have a very, 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 very special guest in the building. Brother, Mr. ERNEST CRIM the Third. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go. Mr. Black Historian himself. Okay. Seen him on NBC, CBS, PBS. ETC means etc. Huh? That's not a station, but you know, it's so much on the resume. Okay, we're talking his IG goes crazy. We had 106K, but the real bag is on TikTok. All right, 350K. Let me just play one of these joints, man, so y'all get familiar with where this conversation is going to go today.
Y'all, this picture right here sends absolute chills down my spine. You have the honor of seeing Willis Wynn photographed by Russell Lee around 1939 in Marshall, Texas. This picture was taken by Russell Lee as a part of the Federal Writers Project in the 1930s and 40s, which was an initiative set up by the federal government to preserve the stories of formerly enslaved blacks before they passed away. Willis claimed to be 116 at the time of this picture and said that he was born March 10th, 1822. Now you're probably wondering, what is Willis holding in his left hand? Well, Willis is holding a horn. This was the horn that was used to call him and other enslaved blacks during the time of slavery while they were on the plantation. Y'all, pictures like this really do something to me because it shows you how much our ancestors had to endure just to live and survive. What thoughts come to mind when you see this?
I want to. It's a lot of jokes in that picture, but it's a lot of truth. You know, and he does not look 100 nothing. You know, I would give him like late 70s. You know what I'm saying? Black don't crack, man. That's how we move.
And you also know too, like, and it's like when our ancestors say stuff like that, you know, I'm gonna listen. You know, we know it's not likely he was, but we also know that they didn't keep track of our stuff. So when my brother say he was 116, he felt like it. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes the way we measure things in our culture, especially coming from the motherland, is like, that's what that felt like in the grand scheme of things. 116 years and he's still there kicking, man. So
you know what's OC too a little bit is the fact that, and this is unofficial, but it's officially unofficial. And I keep bringing her name up. My grandma just passed, and she was unofficially the oldest person in Illinois at 111. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and she had all the facilities for a very, 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 very long time. You know, so yeah, black don't crack. It's all good.
Oh yeah, we persevere. And that's my most viewed TikTok to date.
Yeah, 2.6.
Yeah.
Slight flex.
Yeah, slight flex. I mean, I definitely didn't expect it. And y'all excuse the voice. You know, I teach so much on TikTok and IG. The voice went away for a little bit, but it's coming back for this occasion. So, you know what I mean?
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time. It's been a long time coming, man. We don't interview, man. This is the Corner Convo. We have a conversation. I feel like the best way to get to know somebody is simply have a conversation, and we're going to get these jokes off. We're going to have this edutainment session, and you the perfect person. You're right on brand with what we do, man. So First of all, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me, bro. It's a pleasure. Now the #1 podcast in the shop, man.
Hey, talk about it, man. Talk
had
about
to be
it.
here, brother. I had to be.
Hey, man, so, before we get into the shits, first of all, I got to ask you, do you hoop?
You said, do I hoop?
Yeah.
Oh, do I, bruh?
Okay.
Now, this, you got to rephrase it. Like, have I recently?
Have you recently
No.
got buckets?
No.
All right.
but it's in me. You know what I'm saying? I was just at Joliet West basketball game yesterday. I was watching them play. One of the top ranked schools in the state.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Coach Krieger. They got a lot of top recruits on the team. So like when I see them play, I still feel like I still got it in me.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
still there.
You know what?
I mean?
I'm not gonna let you do that. That's twice. All right. Pause.
You gonna get booked on this show, man. All right now.
Wait, first of all,
You was nice with the first one.
So you went to Joliet?
Well, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, you from
I've been living out there for about 11 years now. Taught out there for 10 years. My wife is from Joliet. I went to Morgan Park. Grew up playing.
Mustang, all right,
Grew up playing in the alleys. 128th and Sangamon. That's all we did, bro. So like this. Getting on the court, it comes back.
128th and Sangamon?
Oh yeah, so far south, bro. Like
You can fight too.
Oh yeah.
You got hands, bro. You got hands.
Bruh, had to. Got some wins, got some losses, man.
Absolutely. I like that honesty though.
Hey,
you can't win them all.
Hey, my mom's go back out there. You know what I'm saying? Go back out there and fight. It builds character. If you ain't took an L in your life, bro,
You're doing something wrong, yeah,
for
man.
real, you can't be successful.
I got beat up physically so bad at a Christian camp one time in Wisconsin. At a Christian camp. That was my first loss. Then I understood it was okay.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, even when you think about like a Floyd Mayweather or something, my brother lost before he started going professional. I think he lost in the Olympics or something.
Right.
So you gotta build it up first, and then after that, it's go time. We learn
off,
from
there
that.
you go.
Yeah.
That's what's up,
Get
man.
your L's early.
Did everybody have a good week? You know what I mean? Did we miss anything? Anything amazing happen? Highs, lows?
Man, my voice, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a curveball. Life is good though, man. Life is good. I was a 12-year educator. Now I'm working for myself. I still educate in a different way, but for me, bro, every day is a blessing because I'm living out, what I envisioned some years back. So,
No. So how did you even get started in the space? You know what I mean? The TikToks, the IG, and what spawned the idea?
So let me take you back. U of I graduate, Urbana-Champaign.
Right.
I'm from U of I.
My first school year there was this thing you all might know called Facebook. Yeah, Facebook popped up. And back then you had to have a college email to be on Facebook. So back then you could only really like post pictures and like, you know what I'm saying, like add little details about your life. The second semester of college, I was like on the verge of flunking out to school. So I took a Black History course. Loved it, bro. Like I was in like that was the first time in my life I wanted to read.
Yeah.
First time in my life I wanted to be in the front of the class. So what happened was I would get that information, bro, and then I would go home to my laptop, no smartphone yet, and I would be like typing the statuses of the stuff I learned. Like, did y'all know this shit? Did y'all know this happened? You know what I'm saying? Like that. And I say that because that's 2006. So like I had always been sharing information online as just a way, because I felt like that's where we meet and that's an extension of us. That's the global classroom. I did not post any content though outside of my private Facebook, bro, until I dealt with a hate crime. And that was 2016, because my first piece of content was me and my wife being accosted by a white woman because we were trying to get justice. So like none of this was planned. I always knew I had a voice, no pun intended, because the voice kind of gone. You know what I'm saying? But like and I want to tell people out there, like, you got to really believe in yourself. And I know that sounds really cliche, but I remember sitting in auditoriums with my wife because she worked at a different school in our district, and she would tell me, you could do that. You can speak like him. Because she spoke, man, like she saw me when I almost
believed
flunked.
in you.
Bro, when I almost flunked out of college.
Right.
She had like a 4.0 in math classes, bro. Like I'm like, why are you still with me, really?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You an honor student at this tough school. But like she saw that, and I was always like, well, I teach in a class, I speak in a class. But when that hate crime happened and I posted it, that was like, I don't care no more. Nah, I'm about to put everything out there because y'all done seen me at my worst. So that was 2016. I didn't start posting TikToks though till 2021 because I had been seeing other educators post too, and I was like, oh, okay, so you do more than dance on TikTok, huh?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So let me just try it out. And I did a video about Ida B. Wells. I said Ida B. Wells was a G. I'm talking in our language. That's how I do in my class.
Right.
I brought everything from how I taught in the class to those 1-minute videos to say like, yo, this is where my students at, because they on the phone. I'm teaching, they on the phone. I bet I'm on your For You page now. And that video took off, bro, and I just kept going. I'm like,
that's how you do it.
Bet, let's keep going. You
passed yourself the baton.
Yeah,
on
man.
going.
And it was genuinely for the love. Like
Right.
again, there was no intention to say I want to get sponsored deals. I want to quit my job. No, it was like I want to educate everybody, specifically our people, and it just kind of snowballed.
I'm glad you brought up sponsorship, man. Are you sponsored? You got deals? The deals are coming?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So,
That's the reason I was able to now, teach on my own terms.
right.
Yes.
Because see, a lot of people don't understand the sponsorship space, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bag there.
Yes, it is.
And y'all have to understand that it's part of their budget. If you have good content, it's part of their budget to spend it. They have to spend it. You just need a pitch deck, right? And
Bro.
and a contact.
Can I say this?
Please.
I want people to understand, right? It used to be a day when companies would spend their money on you watching TV.
Yep.
Most of us don't watch live TV. I watch the game. I turn on First Take in the morning, but it's like, again, it's passive. I don't like when the commercials come on, they selling drugs and stuff on the commercials with them ads. I ain't looking up.
Right.
I'm grabbing my phone. So like they're splitting that money that they used to give to that one station to content creators. In 10 years, live TV might completely be obsolete. So if you're thinking of creating content, I started creating content. I was 30-some years old. Kids listening, you can start in high school. You're already on your phone all the time. Like the shade room, they making money off y'all anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they make. You don't even know who they are running the page. But they taking your attention. And the blessing for me is I've been able to work with companies that see my vision. So like I've said no to some money. For people, like I ain't messing with that. I ain't promoting that to my people.
Everybody don't know that though. They can't look at it like that.
Because I don't advertise that. But like there have been companies, there have been government agencies reaching out, bro. And I don't believe in that.
Well, can you be mad at people that do take that bag? Because some of us have come from a place where they don't know what a bag looks like or feels like, the opportunities that are for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you were in a position possibly morally, mentally, I don't know how spiritual you are, but spiritually, and maybe even financially too, say, hey, you know what? Y'all can keep that whatever blood money or whatever, man. I don't need it. Y'all can keep this sell my soul money.
Right.
Everybody can't do that though. Do you look at them differently?
Well, no, I don't. Now I will tell you this: it was easier to say no when I was teaching and doing it.
Okay.
Because like I had that consistent income from teaching. But when now I'm working on my own, and there's money coming, and I'm like, now more times than not, I get approached by people I do believe in. So I'm getting that. But I can't blame people, but I will say this. I was telling my wife this the other day. I really feel for a lot of folks who get rich and famous at a young age because they don't know the process and the steps. Like for me getting this like notoriety or whatever you want to call it in my mid-30s, it's different than 25. It's different than 15. So I literally, I've been studying our history for more than like half of my life.
Right.
So this ain't nothing for me. If it wasn't like YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, I'd be on the street corners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Preach the word.
Preaching the word.
We'll call it.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Hey, we on the corner, man. We on the corner, man.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna find a way to educate by any means. So for the young folks out there, you have to fixate in your mind right now. If you're doing content, what is your goal? Is it just to get bread? Because it's easy to get money.
Right.
Like, it's easy to get money. We know how to get money. You ain't got to have a lot of skill. You just got to sell something people want.
You can get lucky.
Exactly, right. So, like, you got to sell something people want, but that you also believe in. And if you take that, and I get it, bro, because everybody in different situations, street stuff too.
Right.
Have an exit plan, man. Have an exit plan. Because if you that
Very
one-trick
important.
pony, they going to keep feeding you that, and you're going to keep going after that dangling carrot.
I thought it was hilarious too, man. I said hilarious twice, once off camera, but when I was doing homework on you, you know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to look up stuff and just interview a person, but like Amon said, Joe, we like to talk. And when they called you, they said, one article, I forgot what it said, from educator to the nation's Black history teacher. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, I said, I wonder how that made him feel, when he read that. Did you read that, or did you see that?
What publication was that? Do you
I have
remember?
to look it back up. I have to look it back up, bro. It said from educator to the nation's Black history teacher.
Bro,
I said, damn.
Again, we're gonna be dropping some jewels on this. Like, it's humbling because y'all don't understand. Like when I say I started creating content when I was dang near 30, I spent 10 some years before then reading as much as I could, watching documentaries. So like I'm still, bro, it bugged me out. And I know y'all get this probably too, like when blue checks hit you up or blue checks fall, and you be like, you like my stuff?
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I love your your movie from when I was, a kid and all that stuff. So like, I'm honestly, one of the things that messed me up early on was me psyching myself out of my own gift and saying that, there are already other people that do that. Bro, before the hate crime happened, I was like, I want to write a book, but check this out. I said, I'm not going to do a Black History book because everybody got some black stuff, right? Imagine that. Imagine if I said no. And again, on a spiritual aspect.
Imagine, right?
And on a spiritual aspect, that situation, I'm going to flip it into a good thing because it was a horrible tragedy, but it flipped it into a good thing, the hate crime. I took that and said, nah, I was going down that wrong path. I have to do this. So like for somebody to say that to me, bro, it's because I stand on the back of people like John Henry Clark. And, I love listening to Professor Greg Carr now. And I love listening to all these great folks from the past. Anthony Browder, who's from the west side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I'm humbled that people look at me that way, but I do know that the thing that I'm doing that most aren't is I'm taking these abstract ideas and I'm condensing it to where our kids and the parents can digest it. I don't know everything, but I know how to put it on Instagram and TikTok.
No, that boy's he's pod.
That's what's up, man. And in the book, the Black History Saved My Life.
Yeah.
I love the title.
Thank you.
Dope.
I love the title. And just hearing the story now, I know why the title is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
now, how many pages is that? Because I'm not a big reader, man. So can I get an audio book?
I've gotten that question before. It's a work in progress. Okay. I'm gonna need a publisher to hit me up. Like we're gonna have to, because I got to get paid to set all that time around because I want to make sure I narrate it. It's about 350 pages. Ooh. Yeah, I know. But I tell you this,
a page a day for me.
Yeah, and
well, he gonna read the book in a year.
Right. And again, bro, testimony. I did not like reading.
Yeah.
So to write a book, I had a professor in college. He made us, Dr. Abdul Al-Kamat, he made us write a paper every week for class. There were no tests.
Damn.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like, and when I realized I love that,
that's rough.
I'm like, I could do a book then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, Black History Saved My Life. And the funny thing about that title is that title came after I finished the book. I had a completely different title, but like I was going to a college fair. And I didn't have anything to sell yet. I just going in to network and try to get some speaking gigs. I was invited by the DuPage County NAACP. Shout out to them. Shout out. Yeah, and I was like, yo, what can I put up that will at least make people stop and want to talk to me? So I was like, I'll make a poster, and I'm gonna say, ask me how Black History saved my life. And bro, so many people stopped. I said, that's the title.
Yeah,
that's the title.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Did you feel a way when this ignorant person just decided to take the liberty and say the N-word? I don't really say the word, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was this your first time being hit with that? Somebody from left field or from the other side?
No, but in my face, yeah. When I was, and I talk about this in the book too, when I was in college, man, again, so for the folks, the folks from the city that's listening, our brothers and sisters that's listening, like,
right.
You know, if you grew up on the south or west side, what your neighborhood look like, whether it's higher income or lower income, we separate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For better, for worse, whether that was our choice or not. Most times we came here, it wasn't our choice, redlining. So like, I was bused to a white community for 8 years, Mount Greenwood. If you know about Mount Greenwood, you already know. I ain't got to say nothing. But like, when I got older, going to Mount Greenwood and everything, like when you younger, the experience I had with white folks, we friends.
Right.
I don't really know the adults and how they interact. But when I go to U of I, it's like you in the cornfields. You got folks coming from other parts of the world, other parts of the state, where it might be one black kid at that school or in that town. in Illinois, according to Dr. James Lowen, who wrote Sundown Towns, Illinois had or probably still does have the most sundown towns in the country. Because in southern Illinois is the South.
Well, yeah, I went to Carbondale. It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Because you pass a certain level, and in Missouri and Illinois, they right next to each other. Only thing separating them is the river. So when I was at that school, bro, it might have been my first or second year, me and my friends walking home from a party one day down Green Street, for anybody out there that's in the line now, and, Green Street is always popping. We going back to the dorm, we chilling. A car drives past, full of white folks. They slowed down and said, go back to the hood, niggas. Wow. And drove off.
That's not funny,
Wow.
but
No, bro.
I can just picture it, man.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The funny thing about it is, the funny thing is, I can't do nothing.
No.
Because you in the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my thought, me and my friends was like, you think, I'm gonna chase, like you gonna chase him.
No.
But that's a metaphor, bro, because if we try to chase every single thing, we're gonna kill ourselves. We gotta be concerned more with build, because the racial esteem that comes in is, and this is gonna sound childish, but our parents said this, kids say it too, I know you are, but what am I? That's real though. Like, I know where I come from because I'm studying these people in college right now. So when you say that to me, that says more about you than it says about me.
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Big facts. Let's transition real quick, man. There's some funny shit that has happened in the world this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of our Caucasian brothers and sisters, okay. Becky with the good hair, okay. She did a thing out in Tennessee. All right, Tennessee Police Department. Small town out there. She basically,
she fucked the whole department.
She fucked the whole department. Yeah.
That was just OC.
And they were all black, right? And her husband is standing by her, even though she busts down for the town. Okay. Now, I didn't know that you can't have sex on the police department. So can you please talk to me, Abasi, about? I mean, if you see a dead body and you get back to the station and she want to top you off, why can't I get some top? Like, I'm traumatized at this point. I need some clarity.
I'm just gonna say it like this. It's crazy how you can abuse your power, shoot somebody, and keep your job. But if you give too much pussy away, you're gonna get fired. Like, I didn't understand. I'm looking like, leave that woman alone. You know what I'm saying? But the internet is unforgiving. They put up pictures of everybody she slept with, and they put the K9s from the K9 squad in the picture, like she slept with them. I say, bro, you are not safe in the matrix of 2023. You are not safe at all, man. But I guess it's like an image thing.
Okay.
This department, Chicago, has had one of the higher rates of suicide by officers in recent years.
Seven in 2022.
Right. So there's something going on inside the department that's making these guys want to take themselves out. If she want to go fuck her stress out, I'm not going to be mad at her. She ain't taking herself out. I mean, I don't know how she doing it. I'm not mad at that, but it's something going on in these departments where, and this is crazy to me. It's telling me, because you got black, white, she slept with some people of the Latin culture. You gotta watch who you put on this job. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch who you put on this job, because if I couldn't wrap my head around why they fired her. I could not wrap my head around why they fired her for that. Her husband said to her, I ain't mad at you, buddy. You know what? He probably said, I ain't never gonna meet another woman this freaky in my motherfucking life. I'm not leaving her. I'm standing strong. I got you, boo.
Megan Hall, man. Hey, respect to Megan Hall.
Megan's are pretty freaky, though.
I mean, look, I appreciate you trying to close the racial gap. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? Man. I'm not mad at you for wanting BBC. But somebody snitched. Right? Within those 5, 6, 7 guys, somebody caught feelings.
You think it was a guy or a girl that told? A girl that wouldn't get no attention?
It had to be one of the dudes, man.
Well, you said something real powerful though. Like, they felt that made them look bad. Like that's the thing you would say made you look bad as a department when everything else that's going on, you kill somebody black. It's like, well, let's just wait until the facts come out.
Right.
But like, oh my God, I can't. It kind of reminded me of the situation with the brother in with the Celtics, and they suspended him for a year with the coach. That's handle that behind us. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
we don't really care about that
at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it was done on company time, maybe, okay, nope. I get it.
Slap on the wrist, bro.
Right. But
reprimands, written and verbal reprimands. You have a chain of command in each police department.
Yeah.
When you go to that extreme to make yourself look good in front of your constituents and your people that you're supposed to protect and serve, I guarantee 1,000% my salary this year, next year, and the year after that, it's so much more going on in that fucking department. You know why? I've seen that shit for 19 years now. I always tell my first story walking on this job of the racism I walked into, of the room being divided in the 9th district. Everybody knows that Deering, the Bridgeport area, is racist as fuck. It always has been. When I saw that, and then I saw people actually complaining about it, I'm looking like, y'all complaining about this and not this right here? Okay, don't worry about it. That set my mind for my career thus far. 19 years in, I bet money on the shit I talk. It's correct.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, you know, Memphis and Tennessee, like I got a lot of my family is from Memphis, right?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, getting it for Tennessee. You know how I roll. You know what I mean? Big Griselda, okay?
Rest in peace, Gangsta Boo, by the way.
Absolutely,
For
man.
sure, for sure,
Absolutely.
for sure. So the Memphis Police Department, they fired 5 officers. What was that about?
Well,
Well, if you want to give a backstory.
did you hear about that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. I forgot the young man's name. I had it in my mind all last night. May he rest gracefully.
Tyre Nichols.
Tyre Nichols, man. So there was a call of someone driving reckless around the streets of this certain Memphis neighborhood community. The police do their job. They curb him. My man take off in the car.
When you say curbing, what does that mean?
They pull him over.
Okay.
Pull him over. He gets out and runs. He gets out, an altercation ensues. It's police verbiage. An altercation ensues. You know, he runs. They catch him again. An altercation ensues. And when he's arrested and brought into the station, he's beat up so badly, he's damn near, now you know what I'm talking about, he's beat up, he's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And all that, we've been through this song and dance a lot in this country, you know, especially around, during, and post George Floyd, but way before that, you know, back to writing, you can go back and back and back and back. But this is what I took from this, though. When people holler all the time, hey, you need people that look like you to police your neighborhoods, this was an instance where it said, maybe, but maybe not. You have to vet the people putting on this job because everybody that was fired looked like that man. Yep. So all skin folk ain't your kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? So if you really believe that, you know, we need people like look like us, policing people that look like us, you have to throw that old adage out the window. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that still a traffic stop turns to somebody not breathing. Yeah. Somebody burying their child, their brother, their friend, their son, they love. It's traumatic, bro. It's over and over again. And the crazy part is, you really didn't hear shit about this.
Yeah. Not at all. They buried that.
Yeah.
I think I may have scrolled past it actually this morning. And so my thing too with this is, so you bring up a great point in terms of the police, and we have to be really concerned with the conscience of people too, man. You know, because it's almost like I'm at the point in my life where I want to make sure people understand, especially, you know, because we know representation matters.
Facts.
But like your politics matter too.
Facts.
So like, you know, we went out there, you know, shout out to somebody like a Ben Carson, you know what I'm saying? And what he did as a doctor, but most of us weren't messing with him politically, for example. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a difference between representing us visually than representing us politically.
Facts.
And I don't know what the process is in terms of becoming a cop, but I know like in terms of becoming a teacher, bro, I often tell people that although cops have, you know, although teachers in public schools ain't on TV for like killing nobody or nothing, we kill so many dreams. Like, bro, we and I'm saying the system and who we just allow in, as long as you can pass a test. Like, bro, there are like card-carrying white supremacists who graduated from Harvard in this day and age. We ain't talking about 200, 300 years ago. So, like, at what point do we say as a society, we have to also, like, how do we measure your character? And we know sometimes stress drives you over the edge, but not that way.
Right.
You know, like y'all guessed last time, like mindfulness strategies, grounding strategies.
Yes,
because that's crazy, bro. Yeah. This should not have happened.
I know this though, bro. If Megan Hall was in Memphis with them officers, they would have been too busy. Mr. Hip, Mr. Hall, for real.
Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills, and Justin Smith were all fired, and they were all relatively new to the department.
Yes.
Which is even more crazy.
That's the problem. See, now, this is how bad politics and shit stay sexy. You guys, I think the oldest one came on the job in 2018 and 2019. It's only 2023, 17. Yeah. That's 5 years. So I imagine how gun-ho you were first coming on, you know, and then leadership trickles down. Yeah. So if you're doing that from the rank and file, imagine what your supervisor pushing you to do or how they act. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Like when we fuck up on this show, it's his fault because he's the leader.
That's true. That's true. I want to give a happy birthday to Muhammad Ali.
Oh yes, indeed.
The GOAT. Mary J, shout out to you.
The goat of boots.
And the goat of non-acting, but I love you
You
anyways.
leave Mary alone.
Oh, man, you crazy.
You like Mary, bro.
Non-dancing too, okay? But it's okay. I love you, Mary.
Her non-dance is iconic, though, dog.
It is. It is.
You been on one of her concerts before?
Nah, negative. Negative.
But she feels it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not a trained dancer, but she go with the
tries.
vibe. You know, like
tries.
she
Energy.
She do her
Yeah,
thing.
she
She do
tries.
energy.
She
Yeah.
tries. Was that your Mary impression?
You know, like she just, you know.
And of course, Dr. Martin Luther King, right? Dr. Martin Luther King. I always have a problem when it's this time of year, when it's his birthday, because, you know, we do the one day thing. They do all of the programs, you know, all of the commercials.
I have a dream.
Right? And then tomorrow it's over with until next year, right?
That's on us.
It is on us, but it sucks, right? Because all of what he stood for, everything that he accomplished in his 39 years of living, right? 39, bro.
A baby
39.
still. A baby.
It just, for me, it just goes in one ear and right out the other, because we're still dealing with a lot of those same issues today.
Yeah.
You just got a few more people with a little bit more money
Yeah.
from our community.
Yeah.
If I want to just surmise it and break it down in its smallest, its simplest form.
No, that's exactly what it is, man. Because I don't think, and like you said, we always reduce him to just having a dream, to that speech. We don't, like, every year I try to read something different that, you know, that I've never read about him before, like a lesser known speech or something like that. And I'm honestly always amazed at just how radical he was.
Yeah.
But I think, and he probably, I'm sure he did this purposely because he grew up in the church and everything. And so every time you saw Dr. King, with the exception of maybe one picture when he had a polo shirt on, he had on a suit. And he spoke softly but loudly. It was always poetic. But
Right.
Dr. King,
Rhythmic.
Dr. King was with the shits though, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's be clear.
I had to tell my daughter the other day, because I made a post about this. I asked her, why do you think we have this holiday off? And she was like, oh, because he was peaceful.
You asked your daughter that?
Oh, I asked her.
That conversation has
bro.
to be had for parents and kids. That's great, bro.
Yeah.
That's
My
great.
oldest is 9. We had that conversation, her and my 7-year-old, like, why do you think we have this day off? Because I know y'all learning about him. Oh, he was peaceful and he stood up for us. I said, wrong. No, I'm just like, I said like that. No, but I said, okay, but Dr. King, I want you to really rethink that. Like, he wasn't peaceful. Dr. King would, like, if we were in a segregated place, he would go up in there. He wouldn't fight nobody, but he would take up that space.
Make it uncomfortable for them.
You're breaking the peace.
Yep.
Like, a protest is not peaceful. So, like, Dr. King was radical, but the image, he ain't had a tats, he ain't had a hoodies, he ain't had a, you know, like, we think he was like, no, my man was really down. And at the end of his life, because of course he didn't know he was going to be assassinated, but he was hated.
Yep.
By folks within our community.
He was on the
and-
most wanted FBI's list. Like, come on, man.
Bro, like, so if we really look at what he was talking about, my man said he wanted he didn't say these words, but he wanted everybody to have income from our government.
They don't like that at all.
So y'all folks going to celebrate him, but okay, what are you doing about making, especially in the city of Chicago, everybody should have housing, everybody should have something.
So all y'all cats down at Daytona Beach that started their shooting on MLK weekend, y'all OC, because you know this man got his head bust so many times trying to get the country right. And the killer part, I mean, you know, he was for the culture. When I say the culture, I mean black people, but he was for the minorities, the poor, the disenfranchised, I was gonna say downtrodden, I was like a fucking civil rights activist. I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? You know, look here, I'm a black apologist. I'm honest. I try to get black folks to pass for everything until it just don't make no sense and you can't take up for me. This is me. Because I love us. I know what we've been through, man. He was for everybody that was fucked up and down to get a piece of the pie. And you can't do shit but respect that. But quick question to you. If Martin Luther King was, let's say, current, I don't think we have a current Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? How they say it on a barbershop. Martin Luther King. The King. What would be his attire? Would he still wear suits today? Do you think he still wears suits? Because you're not reaching the masses wearing suits today. Some people, the people that need to hear you now, the kids, the Dirk fans, the Herbo fans, you know, Uzi fans, they not looking at people in suits like, okay, let me listen to what he got to say. What would be his attire to get attention today? Because TikTok is go ahead.
I don't think people will listen to him.
Okay.
Because I want us to consider this, right? Dr. King's impact was his impact, but when you kill somebody before they can do more, you like create this martyr figure. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds like I said Martin figure, but a Martin figure. We create, then we begin to create myths around him. You know, we create these stories, like the dream thing and everything, and exalt him like he was a perfect person.
True.
You know? So if I want you to think about, because there are a lot of leaders who have survived that we don't even know, myself included. There are a lot of names we don't know that are lost in history that were working side by side with him, but because they lived, either we don't pay attention or
that's a great point,
they
man.
got a TV show. You know what I'm saying?
Or that they may have been silenced.
They might have been in prison.
Yeah.
Like there are still Panthers now who are still locked up, still getting released. Like, you know, Asada Shakur still in Cuba.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to believe Tupac is there. But that's
shit.
I really hope so.
I wish. But that's an example.
I need Machiavelli too, the legit one.
Tupac being killed at 25, bro.
That was crazy.
Again, that exalted him.
He had a voice though.
Oh, he did.
He had a voice.
And he was raised by that. So I believe if King was alive, I think a lot of us would not really pay attention to him because I think how radical he was. I don't think he would go the route of saying a TV show is enough or this book deal is enough. He would keep pushing, and he'd be 90-something now. So I think that he would try his best to reach the youth. But even at 39, they weren't trying to hear him, bro.
I see where you came from. No, I meant like if I meant like if he was our age in today's times. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
In today's times, like he wore the suits back then because that's how you.
That was the era, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know. But now, you know, the suits may not be the thing because now they put suits with the Jordans. I ain't mad at that at all. You know what I'm saying? So, what a Tyre and how would he have to talk to reach? Who needs to be reached today?
I mean, I think you might see Dr. King doing some skits on some albums.
For sure.
You know, he might start off like with a Meek Mill, Dreams of Night. Like, you know, I think you would have seen him. I mean, because really it's like when you are a person that's for the people, you have to be where the people are. I think you would see Dr. King in a lot of these spaces. I think you would have seen Dr. King be a big opponent to like on Obama, for example. And I don't mean like an opponent like other side of the spectrum. I mean like he would try to keep him honest. He would critique him. He would say, dude, make sure you're doing enough for us. Because Dr. King's dream, in my opinion, was not like representation in politics. It was politics or politicians doing the right thing for us. And if that representation, you're right, if that representation comes as well, that's great. But I think he would warn us and say, just because you got somebody that looks like you does not mean they're for you. So make sure you keep these people accountable. Local politics, school boards, president, whatever, all of that.
Now, I had a problem with this statue that came out in Boston.
Oh, man.
Okay? Now, the artist was a black artist. I can't even mention his name.
Well, give him credit, though, man. I forgot his name. Give him credit, though, man.
I'm not giving him credit. That shit was trash. That shit was trash.
It was pretty bad.
This is where I went, man. Okay, Boston, no secret, very racist town. Unless you play
good seafood, though. Good seafood.
Yeah, for sure. But unless you play for one of the organizations, you know, it's very racially divided, right? I felt like that statue was a smack in the face to his legacy, right? It looks like dick and balls. Okay, there is no artistic value there, in my opinion.
Don't say that.
In my opinion, okay. The gentleman said it's from an iconic photo of him and Coretta. Why the fuck are you just doing a sculpture of the arms? You know what I mean? Like
it's called the embrace, though.
Yeah, but no, give me some shoulders, bro. Give me some shoulders.
I'm here gonna be the apologist right now. Here gonna be the apologist. He said give some shoulders.
No,
hit him with the shoulders.
That shit was all bad, man.
Well, and I'll say this because I read a comment though that made me look at it differently. That's, you know, some artwork don't belong in public spaces.
There you go.
I think that's what it is because when you go to an art museum, like if you saw
that's the photo.
that,
What are you talking to? Yeah.
And that's a
great
I would
photo.
have loved to have seen that.
Yes.
Like the whole thing. But like what he created probably worked best in the museums where people go to try to figure out.
Super abstract.
Like,
I get it.
Wow. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Because if you compare that, juxtapose that to what we saw in DC, what they created, I don't think it's been 10 years. Like I saw that in person. That's on the Washington Mall or DC, whatever they call it in DC. And they got and it's like a sculpture of him coming out of like a big block of stone.
Right.
Based on one of his
I like that
speeches.
one though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think something like that would have been better. I mean, I feel the same way about the bean. Like I don't like
the bean is trash.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the bean is trash.
Damn, I like the bean.
The bean is trash, bro. Who wants to go there?
You like the bean?
I like the bean. You know why?
I'm already out of shape. I don't want to go there and just look stupid. You know what I'm saying? In front of the bean, man.
I mean, and I think to us being around when they were like, because they used to not be a bean not too long ago.
Right.
I still don't understand what the purpose of it. Like,
I don't either though. So, but
at least you can say, "Oh, that's an embrace." Yo, what is this?
It's a fucking peanut.
If I give him one pass, I'm gonna say this: I'm tired of statues they create of everybody looking the same. It's either a bust or somebody standing straight up and doing something like this, or mouth open. He tried to do something different. It just didn't. Like he said, I'm glad you read the article because I think now I can look at it like that and be at peace with it. It just shouldn't be in public. And it's pause. It's huge. It's huge, man. It's like, damn.
Bro, it is huge. Whenever I go to Boston, I'm not gonna be like, yo, I gotta see that. I just
it's not like, to-do list.
Man, I'm gonna go see Fenway. I'm gonna go I think I'm gonna go to the school he went to probably.
Right.
Because I believe he got his doctorate in Boston. But no, I don't think that should be in public.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
How long before somebody vandalize it? That's a real question.
Probably did it
It
happen yet?
probably already happened.
Well, you can't have nothing in public.
Nothing.
They better have cameras though. Like, come on now, a ring gap or something.
Hey, well, I'm sorry, left field. Black folks, I need y'all to, when y'all leave the house at night now, or y'all go out of town, stop leaving them two little lights on their house to try to trick somebody like y'all somebody home. We all know the trick now. Nobody's at the fucking crib. But we watched you leave.
Bro,
okay?
Hey, don't tell all the secrets, man. Like, you wake up in the middle of the night, just so happen to look outside. Damn, they still up.
Right. We got rain, we got all kinds of security. Hey, they even have dogs, canines for security. All this shit, man. Come on.
Oh man.
Let's bring it back to Chicago, man. Out west, Abasi, your side of town.
Born and raised.
The Pritzker, okay. I'm not saying it correctly.
Boy, Kid, where you at? Boy, he did it again.
Kid, where you at, man?
He did it.
The Pritzker Traubert Foundation, okay, has announced Garfield Park. They won a $10 million award for economic activity in that area. So the Lawndale, Garfield Park, they're gonna build it all up.
They said West Garfield, bro. That shit bothers me because with all the redistricting and gerrymandering of the districts going on.
I mean, they're talking about replacing the vacant lots, the abandoned buildings.
That's cool too, but to my point, they call part of where I work at, which is Humboldt Park. They call it Lincoln Park now. No, thank you.
What?
They call Kedzie and Walnut, where I grew up at, they call it West Humboldt Park now. They're pushing everything west. So this is my problem. When they say West Garfield Park, you don't know what vacant lots they're talking about, what buildings they're talking about, because it could still be very, very close to Bucktown. It could still be close to places that don't really benefit the poor people or the low economic class that needs this change, bro. That $10 million ain't finna help everybody. They building a new police facility. My God, those goddamn microphones. They building a new police facility on Chicago Avenue in Costner.
Why?
Like a fake village for police to train. So police do need better training.
Well, they need that because or off the chain right there. The foes go over there be tearing shit up.
With all that money spent on that shit, you couldn't have built some housing, some healthy food, some this, some that. Get them goddamn best subs and them dirty ass trucks out of here, bro. All the money y'all wasting trying to make the city beautifying the city is a real thing because Chicago's a tourist hub. It gets voted annually, one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
We're normally number 1, 2, 3.
It's crazy. I saw a different list though too, bro. It said the cities with the most HIV.
Whoa.
The state, bro. Florida was off the chain.
Man.
Yeah,
I had to think about it. Miami, Orlando, Tampa. I'm sorry. I go off on tangents, though. My bad. You know what I'm saying? I do that shit, bro. And New York was there. Illinois did not make the list.
Shout out, man. Put the rubbers on, man. Shout out, man.
So, Illinoisans go raw. That's all they do. Because during the pandemic, you had to go to the store and shit. I saw all the feminine products gone, so periods and things were still happening. Bro, the condoms was stocked. And now it's 2023, right? And I see a lot of 1.5-year-old babies. Y'all was fucking, Joe. So why was the condom still on the goddamn shelf? Really, I'm like, it's super, super confusing. And they could have did so much more with that fucking money, man. But who knows who they gonna help?
And I'm glad you bring that up as an officer, man, because I always wonder how an officer feels about like the constant investment in policing while we have these systems in place that it ain't just poverty. It's like our systems are producing poverty, bro.
Facts.
Like how I grew up, how you all probably grew up, like not having fresh produce, fresh food in your area, but you got like corner store, liquor store everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Laundromat.
Yeah,
Barbecue joint.
Bro. And I was
going.
Man, I was so far south. We ain't even have a park district out there. I was West Pullman, but I was further
away.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the first thing I thought of too was West Pullman too.
Yeah, so like we ain't have a park district. We ain't have a park to go to. Like it was no library. What are we doing out there for the kids?
That's terrible, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when do we say we have to make sure we are investing in these communities because our kids are going to deal with that. And then when they 13, 14, we say, oh, they bad. They this. Well, because you ain't invested in them 13 years ago.
You're not investing, you're divesting. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that boy, you here today, huh?
Not really,
You
but
here today.
I'm on
Okay.
2 hours of sleep.
I see you.
But, and the things they put in that village, though, 15 seconds, after I read the article, what are we going to do with that? It's really going to help us, man. You know, but go ahead. Go crazy, though.
It's all good, man. Let's kind of keep it in politics, if you will. President Biden approves a mobile app that makes entering the U.S. easier than ever. Super weird. So you just go to your app and say, "Hey, I'm here now." There's a QR code to get in the U.S. I don't understand. Can you please give me some insight on this and how does this work?
QR code.
I don't know. Whose brilliant idea is this, man? Take your time, brother.
So not only can they come in the country through their phone, they go to DoorDash at the same time. So they might have a long trip and they might be hungry. They can DoorDash or Uber eat some food at the goddamn border. Hey, look here, convenience is a motherfucker.
And who's checking that you're good when you go and sign in the app? Okay, yeah, I'm coming from such and such. I just want to cross the border. They just say yes, you approve.
What does this
app
I didn't
look
hear
like,
about
man?
can you upload your picture and profile and everything?
Hey, look, Biden, man, get your goof ass out of here,
Swiping
man.
linking up.
When ideas aren't executed the proper way, like you were saying about your kids earlier, how you decide to get to them and reach them, because when you were talking to them, they were on their phone. Bro, everybody's in their phone all day long. Are they? See, they're not. Now I'm bothered now, because are they coming across the border with this phone? You see what I'm saying? I doubt it.
That thing might be a tracking device
You know
for the
what I'm
government,
saying?
man.
It's a lot going on, man, you know? But it's you do everything from your phone, so I understand the convenience, but sometimes great ideas are executed poorly, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
if they're giving out free phones, people gonna get that. If they're giving you the phone, right?
That's true.
Damn.
Yeah.
That just took like 3 left turns.
I did not. I'm gonna have to check that article out. I wasn't expecting that.
3 left
man.
turns, bro.
Yeah, Biden off the chain, man.
It's an Apple or Samsung, though.
Both. It's, you just go to your Google Play Store. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They should turn the Apple away.
That's as bad as building the wall, like your boy Trump said.
Yeah, it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless, you know.
It's the most difficult thing about those issues in this country is you have to keep compensating. It's so political.
It's
you
so
have to
political.
keep compensating for what was originally done wrong in the first place. It's like you stole the land. You know what I'm saying? You start. It always just feels so weird to me. I don't know what the solution is, but it's always weird to me when you got Native Americans, indigenous folks here. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just like, okay, but what about this? Ain't used to be America,
Right.
Now, I want to talk to you, Brother Crim, okay? Brother E, all right? Ernest.
The third.
Which Trey, all right? I read that more Chicago families are turning to private and charter schools as opposed to CPS. What's your thoughts on that coming from the educational space?
Man, yeah, I have a lot of opinions about that, especially as someone who taught for 12 years. I taught 2 years in Chicago at an alternative school in Roseland. I taught 10 years in Joliet. Shout out to the Stillman. My wife is still an educator. And I teach a private, like a K through 5 course right now, for Black History, online. So one of my biggest issues with public education over the years have been that it's political. It's public. It's government funded. You had to go through so many hoops and hurdles to do what's right for the kids. Like, I always feel like people who, like, the side that's supposed to be doing what's right complicates things, and the side who's doing what's wrong, let's say Governor DeSantis,
right?
They are diligent about, hey, we're gonna ban AP Black History. We're gonna ban this. You can't say this. Like they whatever. It's a horrible script, but they following it. But whereas for us in education, it's all, well, let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can do that for the kids. And it's like, I love public. I'm a product of public schools. Like, but our parents don't have time to wait. So
That's
am
true.
I going to wait for y'all to treat teachers right? Am I going to wait for y'all to treat kids right and get a conscience? Or am I going to say, well, this charter school over here, this private school over here, that's for us, it's going to do better. Like my nephew, my oldest nephew, I mean, being a young black boy, that is a difficult thing to be in a public school setting when less than 2% of us are black men, and you don't have that same type of guidance. So, like, is my sister going to wait for them to figure out how to teach us? Or
Right.
is she going to find a school? You only get one life, man, and we got to do what's right for our kids right now in the immediate future. So if it means you take your kids to that, I mean, I would hope that our public schools do that, but I completely understand.
What's your thoughts on what is it? Critical race theory?
It doesn't exist in the K through 12 setting. It like, bro.
Come on,
Like,
come on, now, come on.
okay,
Come on, dog, come on.
Let's go there.
Come on, bro.
Think back to what you learned about Black history in school.
Zero. Damn near
Exactly.
zero.
Exactly.
Harriet
So,
Tubman.
The
you know,
Martin
Dr.
MLK.
King, Frederick
Right.
Douglass, Rosa Parks, maybe
Yeah.
George Washington Carver with the peanuts.
Those are the faces. Those are just the faces of what let y'all have that.
Why the peanuts though, man?
Right. And the thing about it is,
Garrett Morgan.
Man, right.
Stoplight.
And all of these folks are powerful, but they all did something that can easily be commercialized. So it's like, oh, all she did was run away. No.
Talk that talk,
She
bro.
was a G. She ain't just run away. Dr. King just ain't march and speak. You know what I'm saying? So like, our kids, at what point in history did this shift happen? When Obama was elected? Like, Obama inspired a bunch of us.
He did.
You know what I'm saying?
Hope.
But that didn't lead to states saying, let's change the curriculum. You know what I mean? Like, so CRT is not being taught now. But the thing about CRT, from my understanding, it's a true thing, because it's saying that the country's founded is rooted in inequality and racism. Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of different things going on: sexism, racism, indigenous genocide, all of that. But if you think your kid is being taught that in school, you ain't been in a high school history class in a long time. That shows. Because for me to teach, when I had to teach my kids the way I wanted to, I had to divert from the curriculum. And that meant
you had to get it
It means you're a
approved
good
too,
teacher
right?
there, bro.
well,
Absolutely.
shout out to the district I was in. They gave you a lot more freedom
Liberty.
to
There you go.
teach that content, as long as you were still preparing them for the
Thank you,
SAT
thank you,
test
district.
and all that. Yeah. Shout out to Joliet Central. But like, the issue still was, I still got to prepare these kids for SAT test. And there's so much that our kids look, bro. Our educators most of your kids' educators don't even know about Black history. It's not a requirement to take it in college. I went to U of I, that's the top public school in the state. Western civilization, white history was required. Black history was an elective. So it's like, no, most folks ain't coming into the class with an understanding beyond the 5 people you said. So like, it's a wild, it's a witch hunt.
Let me get your opinion on something real quick though, because you touched on something that pause. You touched on something that pause again that I think is very important. You know what I'm saying?
The double pause.
You know what I'm saying?
The pause for the pause.
This is my question. I'm gonna ask the question, then I'm gonna make a statement, then I want you to answer. Okay. What do we have to do? What do we have to do as a people to affect change? Because you would think that in 2020, when the world went crazy, the country went crazy after George Floyd's murder, you know, you always need several cogs in the machine, or all the cogs in the machine to work in unison for the machine to work at its best. You had our public speakers. You had our politicians speaking out. You had our civil rights activists. You had people in the streets tearing shit the fuck up for summers on end. You still haven't passed the George Floyd Act. There's no anti-lynching bill passed. What do we have to do to effect change, man? In your opinion?
Yeah, I would say, so one of the things I've been really focusing on now that I left public school is, besides the content, I'm trying to provide parents with strategies to help them at home. Because when I the first third of my book is about my parents, man. Like, it's whenever you talk to somebody in our community that you believe is a success, if you ask them about who helped them, they're gonna probably say their mom or their dad, maybe a grandparent. It's somebody in that household.
Intimate relationship.
Yeah, so like for me, it's when I was growing up, my house looked like like a Black History museum,
Yeah,
bro.
me and you both.
Yeah, so it was like not
With the
just,
wicker chairs too?
right? Yeah,
For sure.
and it wasn't just like Black American history; it was African history. It was like we used to have, and this is the funniest thing to me, man, because Budweiser used to have this series called "Great Kings and Kings of Africa." I'm not sure who was. They must have had some brothers and sisters that working at Budweiser.
They're fired now.
Hey,
Yeah, they gone
what color
now.
was the cans?
They had the red, black, and green cans. You know? But no, like we used to have these pictures. And it was like, Mansa Musa. It was, just all these regal people.
Rich.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, but I just remember seeing just black excellence. And when I got older and I'm starting to teach an African history course, I'm looking up images of these people and I come across those same pictures. That's downloaded in my head. So by the time I go to a school, and I went to a predominantly white elementary school, like, where even if you don't teach me my history, I'm learning it at home already.
Right.
So then what you want to do is you build your kids at home so strong, then that becomes like that outgrowth seeps into the school system. Your kids are going to be asking why we ain't learning about this. My oldest daughter at 9, shout out to the school she at, but she will sometimes say, hey, miss, that's actually this.
Yeah.
Because my dad taught me this when I was 4 or 5 years old. Then once you teach them, you got to go to the school board meeting. I don't need like city council, all that stuff, president cool, school board meeting first.
Important.
Then we go into city council. Get a group of friends that they probably meet twice a month. Rotate it out because it's hard to make it. They put it at like 7 o'clock. I don't want to go either. I get it. Rotate it out. Go to the meeting. Be there. Then start making comments. Let them know you watching them. Because look, bro, in the county I live in now, Will County, we talking like in local
Will
elections,
County.
10% of people voting.
That's
And 10% in local elections.
That's
10%.
terrible.
And that's probably more.
Don't complain when you don't get your way.
Is that a reflection of people actually waking up? I hate the fact that politicians have taken the term woke and made it a fucking insult,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
disgusting to me, dog. But it is a reflection of people realizing how many games are being played in politics, and sometimes their votes do or don't matter, and when they don't matter.
It's a combination because I'm the first one to say it ain't just about voting because I don't like the whole campaign where it's just vote, vote, vote. Okay, what about everything else in between those 4 years?
Right.
Because voting is the first step. Then look, Dr. King is the most important person in this country's history. And he really shouldn't even be included in that history because, just to our community as a whole.
Okay.
He's probably the most powerful, important person. And he was a preacher. He wasn't a politician. Right. So we always think that for our kids to be successful or affect change, they have to have a fancy title or they got to be a politician. He forced Lyndon Baines Johnson to pass that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Frederick Douglass and all the other activists they forced Abraham Lincoln to do the Emancipation Proclamation. So once you elect them, vote for the person first that you think will listen the most is what I would say. And then hold they butt accountable. And that's a job in itself. That's why I say get a group of friends and rotate it out. But voting, and I want to really say local elections is where we need to be focused on a lot because everybody see the commercials for the president. So we don't see the president for the city council, for the alderman.
Nope.
But they can help bring money to your community. You know what I'm saying? And most of the times they offices in your neighborhood. Like, bro, go up to that neighborhood. That's yours.
Yep.
You pay for it with your tax money. Go up, we gotta
literally
shift our mind and they ain't they're not doing us a favor. We're doing them a favor.
Facts.
Bro, you go up into that office, look, you ain't doing this, and that. You go up into that school, this is my school, you ain't teaching my kid right. Flip that mind, now we going to Malcolm X. Because you gotta have a mindset.
Right.
Malcolm X will build up that esteem, then Dr. King will say, go fight for the dream. I just dropped the bar.
I see you.
Just dropped the bar.
I see you. No, I see you.
Right here, though. Why is this important? For somebody to 350 pages. That's a page a day. Holidays off. Literally. No, I did the math in my head. Literally holidays off. You get a fucking break. You know what I'm saying? Make the choice, read it. Why is this important? Why would you say this is important for people to pick up, read, indulge in, educate themselves, enjoy this experience with you?
Pick this book up, Black History Saved My Life, How My Viral Hate Crime Led to an Awakening, because for one, when you sit with something and read it, you have a chance to reflect with your own thoughts, right? So you have a chance to really, you're gonna challenge yourself. And this book is different for a bunch of reasons. One, it talks about something we can all relate to either having seen or experienced, and that's a crime, that's a hate crime. That's somebody being called out. Like we seen it on World Star, YouTube, we Twitter, somewhere, TikTok. So we can relate to that, but oftentimes we don't understand all the other currents of racism underneath the surface, the whole system. And I'm teaching y'all black history from the perspective of an individual narrative. So it's not just in 16, 19. No, it's when I was 9 years old, this happened. Bam, that connects to this. When I was 25, this happened. Bam, that connects to this. Everything that we've experienced, like I've had a piece of it in my life, and I'm trying to let you know what it actually stems from. And that's gonna teach the kids how to build themselves up, that esteem. And it's gonna teach parents how to raise their kids to be strong black folks in this country.
I appreciate that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Again, it's gonna take me a whole year, and I'll text you when I'm done, man.
Take your time.
But this one here, this is more my speed here. Okay?
Boy, you too funny, boy.
The ABCs of Affirming Black Children. Now, this here is a children's book with, of course, Brother MLK. What's this about, brother?
So, and let's rephrase it. I'm gonna start phrasing this. It's a family book.
Okay.
Okay,
You're gonna read it.
coin that. Put it on a t-shirt, y'all.
It's a
Ernest Crim
family
III
book.
said it first.
Yeah, we're gonna read it as a family, and that's because I say that because you're gonna read it with your kids,
Right.
you're gonna read it with young folks, and you're gonna learn some stuff. Because some of the folks I put in there, I didn't know about until I started researching. Also, too, some of the words I put in there, I had to look them up again. I was like, what am I even saying right now? What am I saying? But I did it on purpose. I wanted our kids to come across those challenging words. I got a word in there like xennial. Start with an X. I'm like, I ain't even, because when you look up X words,
I'm lost.
it's always
Yeah, you
like,
got me on that one.
it's always like xylophone and,
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Xenophobia, I know that word.
Yeah, it's like, no,
Buzz
like, so
term now.
I wanted to make
Xenophobe,
sure,
excuse me.
I want our kids to struggle over that word when they 5, 6, 7, 8. So then by the time they 18,
That's probably their vocab.
Yeah, because it gives them, when you have these words in your
I love
head, it
Give
gives you
it, bro.
it gives you the ability to be able to express yourself better mentally, which means you're less likely to revert to destructive means. So this book is essentially the first part of how I felt I was raised to be a strong black man. And I was affirmed as a child. So I said, let me give folks 26 affirmations. And I got one that impacted me, and I'm gonna teach them something. So like my mom gave me one powerful one.
Right.
And she told me when I was 9 that we didn't have a black president. After I asked her why we hadn't had a black president, she said because they're waiting on you to grow up. And that one
Mama's good for that, bro.
Shout out to my mom, Mama Seaton, Rev Seaton. Shout out to Grace United Church of Christ in Sauk Village. Shout out to Jessie Owens. She was a principal over there for years. My mom was amazing, man. And that one affirmation changed my life. So I said, bet, let me do 26. So this is like me breaking down, like reverse engineering my book. So I got like 10 other children's books or family books in my mind.
Now, where can they get the books at?
Get the books, ERNESTCRIM.com. Go to Amazon. Hit up my social media. You'll see the links for the link tree, all of that.
They need stuff like this in our lower levels of CPS and charters, man, really, because I think it would be helpful in keeping something positive sexy. Now I use the term sexy because America keeps what they want sexy because the young generations, they cater to, they are attracted to what is sexy, man. And I'm just trying to go back to the public school, charter school thing because it's funny how charter schools are tied to public schools. But because enrollment's dropping, public schools are getting less funding and charters are getting more funding. Like safety issues are a thing. Class sizes, man. I'm a child of 2 educators. I always say I'm a child of 2 educators. My dad retired at AP. My mom retired, a teacher, and she don't want to retire at all. She just saw my dad living a good life, retired.
She a preacher?
She a preacher. She's a minister as well, though, you know what I'm saying? But she saw my dad retired, and she was like, nah, fam, you enjoy yourself too much. I'm coming home with you. You know what I'm saying? So I know half the West Side because of them. They always ask me about my parents. And so I talk to them now about what their opinion of the school system now versus then. Then you had teachers and educators and principals that really, on some lean on me shit, cared about the kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying teachers now don't care, but you will see more educators now using city schools as a springboard to meet some requirements to go to where they want to get to and be teachers there and teach how they want to teach or teach at a comfortable position. Sometimes, like our leaders did back in the day, our civil rights leaders did back in the day, our forefathers and foremothers, if I can say that, you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
They put themselves in uncomfortable situations so we can have a better chance today. That's why it blows my mind when we fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying? Don't appreciate and don't recognize and forget and don't keep. It's our responsibility to keep everything sexy now. You know what I'm saying? As far as the culture, as far as the matterings, as far as chivalry, as far as respecting one another. You know, the word not being upset because somebody isn't religious like you or because someone is choosing to be more spiritual over religious. Bro, humanity has to be a fucking thing. you know, and we've gotten away from that so much. There's a problem that it affects our culture more than anything because you see, I think America's the world's entertainment, whether we like it or not. And within America, to me, because the crack era passed, but they replaced crack with attention and social media to me because we are addicted to fucking getting attention through social media. You look at grandmas and grandpas, because I remember the dude with the gray beard that was on TV to show. On social media showing his chest and being fine. You look good. Black don't crack, whatever, you know. But you doing things on these apps for attention, man, and how it's really helping us. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself because everybody has to have a goddamn life. Everybody needs a life, or you'll go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry for the little tangent. Just
no,
that's
important, bro. Because one of the things our kids need to really learn about is how to use social media responsibly. And that's something I do want to work with our kids because with me, you know, with us getting social media later in our life, we already had, you know, stuff in place already.
Right.
We already had different mechanisms. Like when you grown, when you get it, it's different than getting it when you at 12, for example. But like so now we used to grow up saying, oh, I want to be on TV. I want to do this.
Right.
Now our kids that have those same visions realize they could do it on their phone. So they get addicted to that attention. And then they start trying to, having the most followers in middle school or high school and thinking that means something in this world. Like so that's something that our kids definitely have to understand. And going back to your other point about this book, one of my missions, bro, with this book is to get this into as many kids' hands as possible. And I've been actually doing fundraisers, on my website, on the social media, so I can go visit our schools in Chicago, in Joliet, and give that book away. I got some schools lined up for Black History Month, matter of fact.
Let me ask you this, not to cut you off, but to cut you off on purpose. I kind of did that on purpose. to the bottom line. What does a normal day look like for you? Since this is your full-time space.
Yep.
What does that look like for you?
And he took time out to share some of his day with us. And he's got important work he needs to be doing.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? It's the thing about, so for anybody who is growing up in this era and you want to work for yourself or you doing like content creation or whatever, I highly recommend getting a job first.
Facts.
Okay. I think you need to have
to fund it.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah,
Experience.
that experience. And you need to, somebody needs to teach you structure. You know, and that's why, going back to the previous point, I said me and my wife were talking about, like, when kids grow up as stars and celebrities, or they taken out to school to go act and do movies and stuff like that. That's cool, but it's like it takes away a part of that growing and maturation. So I taught for 12 years, and I taught my ass off, man. Anybody who had my class, I love what I do. I love that class. That was my pulpit. That was my class, man, for real.
I appreciate you.
So, but having to do that every day from 8 to 3, and your life is a bell go off, you got to shift. Bell go off, you got to shift. So now it's like, man, I'm in control of my own time, but I have that training. Let me use it for a good thing. It's like same thing with the military. If you're going to do the military, think about how you can use it to help us out. So I wake up. Now what I started doing now, I only been doing this like 5-6 months. So when I wake up now, Mondays and Wednesdays is for content. I have a list of content, 100 some. So I ain't even there yet. But I got videos I want to create, and I create it based on what I think we need to know. But also, too, I got to align it with what people talking about as well. Keep that attention. Because I got a long list of stuff that I push to the side because
sometimes that shit just hit flat. You be like, I thought this was one.
Bro, for real. Yeah. And it's like, so I might want to talk about whoever from the 1600s, but when Ron DeSantis bans that thing, Black History, AP Black History in Florida, I got to talk about that. We got Dr. King holiday coming up. It's better to talk about it now, maybe than June. So, like, I'll create videos and front load. Then at the end of the day, I'll do some administrative stuff. I'm working solo now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you have a team yet?
Not yet. Okay. Praying. Yo, reach out.
Hey, look.
Reach out.
Get these interns out of, what's the name? The school down the street on Michigan.
Yeah, 100. Hey, we got to, because I'm expanding.
This is what I saw earlier, right here. Have you seen that before?
Oh, we're talking about the Twitter?
It says, a former school teacher who now teaches Black history worldwide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I want to make sure people know, because the first thing, when you leave a profession, bro, people say you retire. It's like, no, man. For one, I saw my parents, I saw my grandparents retire, and it was hard for them to sit still because you retired from that job but not from your purpose. So, like, I just transitioned to teaching in a different realm. I'm still an educator,
Yeah. So also what we do, man, we give Black excellence, man. And first of all, I want to give you Black excellence for everything that you've done, that you're going to do, and that you're doing. It's so necessary, brother. It is so necessary, man.
Thank you.
Also, we got the first governor of Maryland, man. Black brother, man. Wes Moore. All right, governor-elect, man. Well-spoken brother from the military, a patriot of some sorts. Married, kids. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. He has a whole Obama vibe to him, but he's young. You know what I mean? Yeah. What he said to in the interview I saw, that when he gets officially in office, he's putting financial literacy into the curriculum.
I love it. I
love that. I don't care if you don't do anything else. That's so necessary.
I think people need to understand too just how rare it is to have a black governor in this country. It's not something we think about a lot, but yeah, we've had a black president, and that's because there are so many pockets of people in large cities that voted for him, but there are so many states that have, like Illinois being one, that have never, and it will probably be a very long time before. I mean, we saw what happened in Georgia. You know, we saw what happened in Florida too some years back with Andrew Gillum as well. So it's rare. Shout out to their brother, man, because like that does not happen often. So I hope he, I hope he's prepared for the ride, and we got to make sure we praying for him, man. Keep him strong.
Sure.
And he looks like the type that will make his constituents uncomfortable.
I hope so.
When I was reading what he was saying and the shit he was kicking, I'm looking like, go ahead, brother. But like you said, I hope he's down for the ride. Yes, but it seems like he has a foundation and is steadfast in what he wants to do, man, because he brought the fact of, black and brown, which is something we got to talk about one show too, the black and brown, people needing the same resources and the same playing field that everybody else has, to make it simple.
Yeah. And it starts, like, again, that's an example of a local election. We talking state, we talking county, we talking city. So you have to get these types of folks. And I don't know a lot about his background in terms of policy and stuff like that, but I do want to believe that he's going to continue to put the people first.
Let's go.
Now let me ask you this:
the Lakers.
What?
Yo, see that thing with Shannon Sharpe?
Oh, let's get into that.
I was hoping you were there.
Let's go random. Let's freestyle,
Shannon, bro. Like,
first of all, Shannon, let me say this, Shannon. I have 2 points of views.
Shannon Iron, big as your motherfucking your head, boy.
I don't want no smoke, Shannon. Let me be clear. All right, this is not Skip. All right, I will fight back. I might not win, but let these hands go.
You're gonna put forth the effort.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Shannon, you talk about being professional, right? I think your professionalism needs to carry over even when you're in public, right?
Ooh, come on.
He has consistently on his show kept his cool, had restraint.
I know where you're going.
Right? Now you get on one of the biggest stages in LA and act a fool. Right? In my opinion, out of character from what you've shown while you've been on television. The other part of that is, welcome to the barbecue, people. All right? It's okay. People talk shit. They argue, right? And they shook it up afterwards. But Shannon, I expected more out of you, and I know he did the fool.
Yeah.
I know he did the fool.
He thought he was on a football field for a second.
Yeah.
And
he flashed back, huh?
Yeah, man. And again, he's been a football player longer than he's been doing that job. So I think sometimes folks, you revert back.
There you go.
We back there again. But what I don't understand, I didn't see it live. I turned to it after I saw it online. Like, the dude was just yelling at him across the way because of something he said on the show? Or, well, like, because I know Shannon talk a lot, and that's his job. But, like, was it because the brother said something?
He told the dude with, what's his name?
Dylan Brooks?
Dylan Brooks that he too small to guard LeBron.
Which he is.
And he said, fuck you. And then it was a fuck you exchange. And then next thing you know, everybody's tough and yada, yada, yada.
Dylan Brooks be getting into it with folks.
Everybody.
Man, bro.
But every good movie, story, sports arena, organization, league needs a goddamn villain. And Memphis is turning into that villain. I think this is what happened with Shannon.
I like them. Yeah.
I think that once it got uber competitive, we full of testosterone, bro. And like you said, him being a former tight end, Hall of Fame athlete, when the shit talking happened, it clicked.
Yeah.
It clicked, you know what I'm saying? It clicked, and it just wasn't. It wasn't like
he was a fan and he was an athlete at that moment.
At the same time.
Yeah, because he loved LeBron. He riding for them. And, I can't relate to being in a stadium of 20,000 people and people screaming at you. And this guy,
adrenaline
because he's talking about y'all all the time, probably. Like, oh, no, it's about to go down. And and Shannon with it, man. Like
he with the shit.
He with it, bro.
No
like,
punches thrown, man. You know what I'm saying? Grown man shit.
They had a conversation now,
grown,
man. That's all
grown
I
man
love, bro.
shit, bro.
Like when we hooping growing up, bro. Like, I'm trying to take your head off. At the end of the day, though, I still love you, though. It's good.
Fact, man, about to win, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's something a lot of now we going back to some deep stuff. I think that's something that's missing from our community, though, man, because we so on these devices, we see a lot of stuff without the person intertwined with it. So it's like, I might hate you in that moment, but like, it's the game. It's just a game. I don't really hate you,
right?
But I'm trying to win. So after that, we supposed to just chop it up, dap up real quick.
Some people took it here though. After they saw what happened, after they saw the meltdown between Skip Brainless and Shannon Sharpe on the show, they compared it to the two incidents, Shannon and T. Morant, Josh Dad going at it. And I was like, well, how about this, man? As a guy, and I told myself in the world for 2023, I would not tell people I can fight, but I can fight, all right? You know, so sometimes it's how you look at people. He don't see Skip as no threat. No. He'll crush Skip.
Okay.
Maybe he saw T. Morant as a threat and had to stand up, or Dylan Brooks as a threat and had to stand up. You know what I'm saying? And it got the better of him and his judgment in the time.
Yeah, you know too, man. So often because of the dynamic of where we from, we most often see each other as threats, bro.
Talk.
Even though we didn't create the system that disenfranchises, the multitude, we see the ones hurting from it, and sometimes that hurt goes towards us. So then we might see a white person that may have been the pin behind it, but because we never actually, because we ain't the plantation no more in the traditional sense.
Right.
So and I can't speak to that exact situation, but sometimes that's why it can be so easy for us to be like, nah, I'm going at your head. On the flip side, Skip also knows, because of his position in society, he probably feel like I got a certain, even though I think Skip, he'd be pretty bad on some stuff. But I think for Skip to have the respect of Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe back to back like that, I think it has to say something about who he is behind the scenes. But I think he also knows, like, yeah, you ain't gonna do nothing, because if you do, it's a rap.
Does it say something about Shannon and Stephen A?
Look, man, I disagree with a lot, especially nowadays with what Stephen A. does in terms of like how he speaks. You know, like all the smoke for Kyrie. Yep. You know what I'm saying? No flames for Jerry Jones or people like that.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. Or Dana White.
Or Dana White.
Which they buried that Dana White shit real quick.
Oh, man, they bury it. And I will also say this too. I think Stephen A. Smith is a part of another generation as well. So I'm always looking at this from a historical frame point of the way he was raised and the way you address things was different than how the younger generation, and I'm an older millennial, was raised to do things. So with Stephen A., I think the error in his way is sometimes he has private conversations about us publicly. Because sometimes it is, man, you being a knucklehead, man. Yeah. Like, don't go out there acting a fool. But you saying that when your audience most of them don't look. So, but then it's like he gets the professional thing when it's Dana White and everything. And I love Stephen, bro. I want to buy the book and everything. I want to talk to you one day. But it has to be. You got to you got to admit when you're wrong in a situation. Yeah. And it is the thing. Like, we have to realize that we are all taught in this society, like, to have some type of bias or prejudice or to be anti-black in some sort of way. Like, it's just when we do it, it's a lot different than when the system does. So sometimes when you see that thing coming out, whether it's like a colorist thing or whatever.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to speed past that.
We ain't seeing nothing coming out. I don't know what thing you talking about, man. Let's be clear out here, man. All right, now, Trey.
All right, let me backtrack. Because, man, yeah, you got me. So when you see the bias or whatever starting to culminate,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay, I like that.
And it just kind of show itself.
Okay.
Did I say that? Okay.
Yeah.
You just got to correct yourself.
Got it.
Because I shouldn't think that. And I think oftentimes on these platforms, the ego can sometimes supersede what you know is right. But with that said, Shannon ain't trained to be a journalist, and I think he comes from more of a position of passion when he gets stuff wrong, as opposed to Stephen A., who might be trying to be, the professional type and fit into that mold. So,
well, let me ask you this before we get up out of here: what you listening to right now? What's on your playlist?
Oh man, heavy on Freddie Gibbs, man.
Good call.
Freddie Gibbs, who basically that's Chicago.
Yeah,
Gary, I mean,
yeah.
it's-
He'll vice well. We'll claim him.
you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Freddie Gibbs, bro. Like,
What do you say? What do you call yourself? Big Bunny Rabbit?
yeah, Big
Big
Rabbit,
Bunny.
big. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard a bad album.
No.
Me personally.
Nope.
And I love the fact that my brother, like, he the long game. People like folk.
He did play the long game,
He was
didn't he?
signed to Jeezy when I was in college.
Yep.
He was signed before then. I think to Interscope coming up.
Man, what freshman class was he in? Shit.
So, bro, like, yo, Freddie been doing, and I think his grind is again, y'all. We talk about that when you so-called overnight success, it don't last, bro. He grinded out. So Freddie Gibbs, that new album, I think
Soul Separately.
Soul Separately. I love that, man. And his other album too, he had with Alchemist was fire. Kendrick, of course, I go back to that. I don't do a lot of the new stuff like that, but I do like What Happened to Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I think that's Dirk. Shout out to Dirk.
Okay. Right.
I do like G Herbo when he talks about the mental health stuff like that. But I'm at the age, bro. I want to find some more R&B. Trying to some smooth stuff.
Do you
man.
know Gibbs came out in 2010, freshman class on EXECELLENCE cover.
Okay.
Bro, that list had Wiz Khalifa, J. Cole, Big Sean, Nipsey Hussle, J-Rock, OJ the Juice Man, for Sean, right, Donis. That's about it. And Peel, I don't know who Peel is.
That's like the '96 draft, bro.
That's not bad at all, bro.
Yeah,
That's not
fire, bro.
You made me go look this up by saying his name, dog. Damn.
Yeah, like Nipsey, man.
That ain't bad at all, bro.
I still got some. I got some playlists where I got Nipsey playing. Matter of fact, I'm a sleeper, bro. People overlook is in the spotlight no more, man. I love some Ace Hood, bro. Ace Hood.
Okay.
In the morning too.
Yeah.
Ace Hood make workout music.
Well, that's all he do is work out.
Man,
Yeah.
man, dude
That's all
got
he
like negative person, like man,
Yeah.
Negative body
My man, though, and I love seeing his growth too on Instagram and everything. But now he makes, and it's not just motivational. You can tell like it's conscious motivational music now. I love jazz too, bro. So
You spark. See, this episode's gonna spark interest in Black history. Someone that may be let's say, an apprentice when it comes to knowing about their history. Outside of this, what tools can they use to go and learn about their origins and backstories and things like that?
Oh man, it's easier now more than ever. I think like sometimes, like again, if you're born into this era, you don't realize how many tools you have. You know, we
Right.
come from, you got to go to the library, and you get like I come from the era when we did assignments or research papers.
Right.
My mom said, go grab one of those world encyclopedias.
I hated those,
I hated
bro.
them shits.
And check this out. I'm in the 90s. This book was, I think my mom got that when she was a young kid. That was from the 60s.
Not updated,
We
right?
just get it for Christmas gifts. Don't give me this shit. I want a whole Sega game or something.
Man, them things are expensive too.
Yeah.
So like we had to sit down and we had to talk to the elders. I just think our kids need to know, like, if you use social media and YouTube correctly, you can learn a lot more, because I listen to a lot of lectures. Again, shout out to like Professor Greg Carr and Karen Hunter. They have a great course online called, I think it's called Nubia. I love listening to them. I love listening to lectures on YouTube. Like you type in the right stuff, just put it on if you don't like reading. And you go, and then what's going to happen is YouTube is dope with the algorithm, so you're gonna keep finding people who gonna go down there.
So
But
I gotta ask my question right though. Like you have specific like sites they can go to.
yeah,
so my
like
fault. Yeah,
people I go to. Outside of me.
The novices. That's what I'm looking for. Novices can go to and kind of because sometimes too much can overload your brain and push you away.
Yeah. So definitely. So like I said, shout out to Professor Greg Carr.
Nubia.
Look up Nubia and Karen Hunter. Go to YouTube, type in Home Team History. That's a brother right there. He has about 700 subs on YouTube. He does narrations of African history. And the dude has a very like calm voice too, so it's like it's easy to digest, and he knows some stuff like you just would have never thought about. You know what I'm saying? So he's another dope one. And honestly, too, man, I'm reading a lot now. Now that I have some more time away from my job, so I just read 400 Souls. I think Ibram Kendi edited that, and it has a different writer for each period in history from 1619 to the present day. So if you start off with those folks, I think that'll take you. Again, Anthony Browder too from Chicago. So
If he don't say your name, he's not leaving you out. Okay. Trust me.
it's a seasonal thing. It's
Yep.
like the mood
Absolutely.
I'm in right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's dope, man.
Oh wait, one more.
Go ahead,
one
get
more.
shit off.
Shout out to my brother on Instagram, Ghetto Activist. My brother has a fire page.
That's a hell of a tag.
Oh man, Ghetto Activist.
Let me hit this follow real quick. Hold on.
Yeah,
hell
you
of a
know
tag.
what I'm saying?
That's a hell of a tag, bro.
I'm gonna make sure I send this to him. Ghetto Activist. He's from St. Louis. But the brother, he breaks down these concepts and creates like these kind of infographics.
Okay.
But he speak how we speak. He talk how we talk. Oh, bro, he,
like that though.
he
Yeah,
cold,
yeah.
man. Make sure y'all look him up.
Absolutely.
Follow.
Ghetto activist. Put it on the shirt. He probably selling that merch already too, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Okay, ghetto activist, ghetto historian. Okay, yeah, I'm rocking. Okay,
Yeah, he cold. Yeah.
Bet it up. Hey, man. Well, this is the Corner Convo episode
It's
131.
been a pleasure, man. We've been blessed with Mr. Grimm the Third.
Yeah, man. Y'all go get this book. Y'all go follow. Go ahead and get your handles out, man.
Oh yeah, at Mr. Crim 3 everywhere. So I'm a teacher, you know what I'm saying? So it's at Mr. Crim 3, IG and TikTok specifically. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm just on there just kind of looking at some stuff in the background. I'm on LinkedIn too. We get it in on the professional site, ERNESTCRIM.com. Hit me up. Amazon got the books, Black History Saved My Life, and the ABCs of Affirming Black Children.
That's love, man. We're gonna talk about these sponsorships. It's Corner Convo, man. We out.
Shout out to Brandy.
We are exploited. We are
dope.
downtrodden.
Love,
Yeah.
love, love.
That's all good.
That thing flowed, man.